Okay. Let's just get it started. Karma fam.
Okay.
Karma fam.
Oh my goodness. Did Christmas come early?
Oh my gosh. It was Black Friday.
It was Black Friday.
I was stressed.
Sitting on Twitter. I like how we're talking about like...
And how am I going to get the toaster oven that I need?
Oh my gosh. Wait, what happened? Did you go on Amazon?
I went to Wirecutter, the like New York Times reviews website. They like
I don't know about Wirecutter.
Like if there's anything that you need, like a toaster oven, a blender, like earbuds, they have done extensive research and reviewed all these different things, and they give you like, this is our recommendation.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine the free shit that editor receives?
I know. Then like the commissions from the clicks.
Oh my gosh.
All of that.
Oh.
So, but I'm bought in. Like I bought like all my baby stuff using them, and I've been pleased. So I got a toaster oven. It's a Panasonic. I'll tell you guys how it goes.
Yeah, please. Because my toaster oven now, you have to over dial it for the timer to work. I'm not sure. So say like if you want 10 minutes, you have to always do it to 20.
Is your toaster oven like one of the most used appliances in your kitchen?
Yes. And I didn't. My sister told me to get one, and I was like, you're crazy.
No. They're amazing. And we use them so much, and we have this shitty like $25 one that we bought like 4 years ago that it doesn't toast anything well, and it's
well, I think it's like, so my thing is I love making cookie dough.
Oh yeah.
And then like it's like every night you can have fresh baked cookies.
And you don't have to turn your oven on.
Yeah.
It's genius. So
but something like fresh baked cookies.
Ooh.
So what we're reviewing is the Fabulous Lives of Bollywood Wives. It is a tongue twister.
It is.
Should we just start where we open? I mean, okay.
So wait,
the intro.
Let's just tell everyone that today we're recapping episodes 1 and 2.
1 and 2. So, that's very important.
And
I have not watched beyond that.
No, me neither.
BTW.
So we're gonna actually stick to like just watching 2 at a time, so we're not spoiled or get into other stuff. But like,
do not read the reviews for this show.
What do they say?
They're not good.
Are they people just being like, fuck them?
They're just like, well, no, it's just so much fluff.
Okay.
And we're never getting into like their lives. It's just the fluff part of their lives. But I mean, December, Colorado, it's getting colder. It's like really depressing. Like Indra and I were talking about how depressing it is right now. Like the holidays during COVID. I can deal with fluff. Like I take the fluff.
I mean, I want to like make the argument that maybe their lives are just fluff. Like they are.
Hell yeah.
This is like something that if you haven't listened to our interview with Elise Lane, you should. It's going to be in 2 parts. It's on our podcast. Mm-hmm. But one thing she talked about that I thought was really interesting was like at a certain echelon of society, when you're making enough money, the conversation just turns into as she said, Botox and handbags. And like,
it's amazing. Good reference.
That's
point.
all you talk about. And I just think that like there is a superficial nature to those people's lives. And that's kind of what the housewives across the board are all about. And it's like, I personally kind of like to like make fun of them for it.
Right.
It's part of what I enjoy.
Well, it's like you do have, and a lot of the drama is about money, right? In the housewives and the lack of, like, for example, we always talk about this, the infamous Kyle and Kim fight.
Yes, about the house. And
and
Kim needing money and getting bought out and then feeling like Kyle stole it from her. And so even like, at that level of like money that's just like way beyond most people's standard of living, there's still these issues around finances. It's just in the millions instead of like thousands.
Do you think Kim Richards is a millionaire? Side note.
Well, I think she might be now. Like, I wonder how much money she's made from the show. Because she's
I'm not
definitely like,
sure.
so she had probably all the money from her life as an actress way back.
Right.
But like now.
Hopefully she was investing it.
Hopefully. I mean, now
Right.
but like being on Beverly Hills has given her another platform. But anyway, we're here to talk about
We're
Bollywood.
here to talk about some other housewives. Okay. So how about you start where we start?
Okay. So we start at Maheep Kapoor's house, where she has invited the 4 women of this cast to come over ahead of her trip with her husband Sanjay, and
who I'm attracted to, by the way,
and
very much,
and their daughter Shanaya, because she has been invited to this thing in Paris called La Ball,
which I can talk about that.
Yes, what
I have never seen someone so relaxed before a flight.
Shanaya,
like,
you
Indra,
mean?
what? No.
Oh, all of them?
Maheep. Yes. What is your household like before you have to catch a flight?
I mean, I
am
not. It's
running
not good.
around.
I'm nervous.
No. I'm nervous. I'm packing last minute things. I'm yelling at my partner. Yeah. I'm yelling at my kids.
There's a lot of yelling.
There's a lot of yelling, food shoving in their mouths. Screaming, did you go to the bathroom? Did you go to the bathroom?
I'm going to assume that they actually filmed that like a day before they actually left.
See, that ruins everything.
No, well, maybe not. I mean, in India, the other thing is like they have staff like helping them do all this shit. They have a driver. There's someone who's taking their luggage to the car for them into the airport.
Well, and that's like when they were driving to pick up all the girls. Did they go out to lunch or something?
Yeah.
They wanted to get crab, right? I was like, who's driving? And then I was like, oh, I forgot.
Everyone has a driver.
Everyone has a driver.
Yes. And so it's all like your own personal Uber at your beck and call. Like their job is to drive you. So they're always available for you.
That is what. Do they live with them or no?
Sometimes drivers live with families. Probably not in Bombay just because there's less space there because it's such a big city and people live in apartments.
And so is that why she's in an apartment? I think that was also like the thing, as I was like, oh, I thought we were going to be in a house.
Did you notice how you only see the interior of places, you never see the streets? It's because Bombay is, by American standards, the streets and the actual like outside of the city is not glamorous. It's dirt roads, cars honking everywhere.
Wait, so are you saying that apartment building was off a dirt road?
Probably. Or like a very badly paved road.
Do you think there were animals?
Oh yeah,
walking
cows
around?
walk.
So American.
Cows, chickens, all over the streets of any Indian city. So it's pure mayhem. So if you're having this fabulous live show, you have to only show the insides, and again, Bombay's like New York. Everyone lives in apartments. They don't live in actual houses, but these apartments are huge, you know.
I could imagine.
And I think we saw a bit of that with the cast members from Indian Matchmaking who lived in Bombay too. We only saw them in their apartments.
Well, I think the exterior shot of the jewelry shop that Neelam owns, am I pronouncing her? It was just the sign.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because the rest of the area around there, I guarantee you, is not very nice looking. And like, that's where the driver who takes you from point A to point B, so you don't need to walk through that mess.
So those women are never walking on the street?
No, there's no walking happening in India. Anytime I go to India, I get so depressed because I don't move at all. Like,
your feet
I'm
do
just
not touch.
In a car going, like, we would go, anytime we went to a city where there was an area where we could go walking, it was like, oh my God, thank goodness. But even then, you have to go to an area where you can walk. You can't just walk in the city streets like a normal person. Like, you can, it's just not going to be very pleasant.
So you're obviously not seeing runners running around.
No.
That is very okay.
If people are working out, they're in a gym or they belong to a club.
Do you mind me asking the dumb American question?
No, go ahead.
I mean, because I want to go with you.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
when COVID is over, we're going to India.
We're going to Palm Springs.
And okay, we have to say that all I have to say, guys, Bali from Family Karma
I know.
knows all of these women. This
wild.
was her life there, which I think is really interesting to
so
kind
many
of
questions.
see. And we're hoping to get her on to talk about.
Well, do you think these women have a button like Bali did?
Yes.
I'm obsessed with the button.
Okay. So I just want to get into a main kind of thing about the show that I'm sure you've noticed already. And they even referenced it in episode 2 when they're at the salon. One of them said to Neelam, like, you look so white. And did you notice that
I didn't notice that.
All the women look like white women to me.
Yeah.
They are.
Were they always so white?
Well, that's in the
Unclear.
Bollywood industry, white equals beautiful.
Isn't it so weird that, like, remember when, I mean, it still is, but like when self-tan, I mean, was popular.
Yeah. In America.
It's like can anyone be happy with themselves?
No, but I think that one thing that really stood out to me in these first 2 episodes is how much the white center is like pulling these women, like wanting to get their kids to France to go to Le Bal, wanting to like look like a white person essentially, and kind of like.
Did the men look white to you?
No, I feel like the men looked brown to me. What did you think? I thought they looked browner.
Everything you're saying, I did not pick up on as a white woman.
Okay, so
Not at all.
that's super
like,
interesting.
Not even the woman trying to, like the color of their skin.
That is so fascinating.
Like not at all.
So fascinating because it's not something you have to think about, right?
No.
Yeah.
Because I it's like I get like a lot more privilege. I get to rely on my white privilege with just expecting to see lighter skinned people.
Yeah. And on
my screen, which is fucked up.
Yeah. And then one of the first things I noticed was, hey, all these women are like super white.
I guess I never like it takes for me like a lot of conversations for it to really click.
Yeah.
That is valued because it's, again, I'm through this podcast, I'm all of a sudden like indulging into Indian culture and Indian beauty. And but like we get I get the Priyankas and I get with who's the Bravo, Padma.
Oh yeah, Padma, yeah.
So I get Padma, I get Priyanka, I'm getting these women and
they're both not super fair skinned at all. They're like normal.
You don't think they're fair skinned?
I think they are on the spectrum, but they're not I mean, these women on Fabulous Lives, like, they are legit, like, they could be white people.
Right.
In the States, like, they could be, someone could see them and totally be like, you're a white person, like, you're not Indian. And
I love this conversation. It's so interesting.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, that was one of the first things I noticed. And
what else did you notice? Like something like that?
Again, like just the white center thing that like the whole first episode was focused around Maheep having her daughter Shanaya go to Le Bal. So talk about Le Bal. What is Le Bal from your research?
Le Bal is actually held every year around Thanksgiving in France.
Okay.
And for you to be invited, there's a celebrity factor with your parents, a wealth factor.
Okay.
And something else. So the people that have, like the Americans that have been invited are Reese Witherspoon's and Ryan Phillippe's daughter.
Okay.
Forrest Whitaker's daughter.
Okay.
And those two, so whoever opens the ball and does the first waltz
is like the biggest deal.
So it's like Forrest Whitaker's daughter.
Okay.
And like they said, is it Seema's daughter? No, Bhavana's daughter.
Yes, Ananya. She went already.
And so I guess in 2017 or 18, they had 3 Indian girls there, and that was like a huge deal.
Yeah. Well, so how many people total get invited?
I don't know. So I'm guessing around like 12 or 15, maybe 20.
What?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's very select.
Oh, shit. Okay, so this is the height of privileged.
Yeah, it's like, and like you can look like Vogue covers them.
Yeah.
Like the Indian Times, like all those, like it's like Harper's Bazaar, and like we saw Ang Lee.
Well, no, Jet Li.
Yeah, sorry, Jet Li. So it's like a lot of, there's a celebrity factor, but I unclear, like, other than those famous celebrity kids spawn, I didn't recognize any other names.
Yeah, I didn't even really pay attention, but I didn't realize it was that exclusive.
And you should see the like how white it is before, like, because you can click through because it started in 1992.
Yeah.
And so you can literally go on their website and see like the different hairstyles.
Wow.
And like the different, and it's supposed to introduce your daughter to the couture houses.
So that's another like thing that I had an issue with. It was like this whole, the gender dynamics and just how, you know, pretty women go and get introduced to, it's like a debutante ball basically. And actually,
and
now
I only saw one body type. That's what I had to say.
Word. And that's a good point. Actually, they did show a photo where it was like all of them were having their photo taken, and I noticed in that everyone looked white, including Shanaya, even though she's Indian. So that's an interesting thing.
Well, I'm wondering. So, is it widely known? I'm not saying Shanaya has this, that teens are using Fair and Lovely.
I think there's a lot more backlash against that. I think it's more like there are people in India who are legit just like fairer skinned, and they tend to procreate with one another. This is all back to the caste system. This is all based on these really fucked up ideals of who marries who. Like we saw it in Indian matchmaking. You write down what color skin you have because people care about that. So when a white Indian and a white Indian procreate, you're going to get a fairly white Indian. So
this is a question I have. So am I allowed to say as a white person living in America that's fucked up? Or am I not allowed to? So should I not say that because I don't know the culture?
That's a really good question. I think that you can absolutely be like that feels fucked up to me. Like, that seems backwards and not okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if I have a right because it's like that's just a part of the culture.
Well, I think that like you're doing now, you're acknowledging that like I'm not a part of this culture. I can say from my perspective that feels wrong and not okay, but I want to learn more.
It's excluding people.
Yeah. And I think as an Indian person, I've always felt like it's really fucked up. I think the people who subscribe to it would say it's fucked up, but hey, this is the world we're living in.
Can I ask you a personal question and we can delete this or whatever? So then where are you on the color like palette?
I don't even know. I think I was talking about this with Rashi when we interviewed her. Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't think I'm particular. Like I've seen other Indian women who definitely have darker skin than me.
Right.
But like I've definitely seen like the women on this show are absolutely lighter skin than me.
Right.
So I don't even know.
Me.
Yeah.
They're like my
exactly.
color. They have my exact color.
Exactly. Because you have dark hair and all of that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't want to know. Like I never had to be on like a matchmaking situation where I need to.
And I'm not asking out of like to like, I guess it's just since it's all new to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really understand it, but I'm of course listening, you know, and
I think that like most Indian women, I'll say this, like as a person growing up in America who's Indian with Indian parents who grew up in India, I mean, I think I'm lucky. My parents have never once mentioned anything to me about staying out of the sun or making sure that like I don't get too dark or anything. I know that happens to other Indian girls like who live in America like me. I've never had any pressure to like look a different way, and I'm thankful for that. And I also recognize that a lot of people don't have that and they are told.
Do you think your mom had that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she has family members who there's some stuff where they like clearly think that being white is better. And she'll talk about it openly and she'll say, I think it's messed up. And she's one of those people who actually presents like could present as a white person. But anyway, okay, so back to the episode. They're all getting ready to go. So Maheep Kapoor. She's married to Sanjay Kapoor, an actor in Bollywood. They have this daughter, Shanaya, who's going to Pari. And we meet the other women as well. So we have Seema, who is...
unclear what she does.
Seema Khan is married to Sohail Khan. Does she have a jewelry business or no? That was Neelam.
No, that's Neelam.
So Seema...
So Neelam, I like to think of her like the Alyssa Milano without the politics right now, right? Because it's like the child star.
Yeah, Neelam.
Yeah, and who was huge. Like they were like, oh, we had posters of you.
Yeah, she was really big. And what's interesting about her, I looked her up. She's only half Indian. She's half Gujarati and she's half Iranian.
Is that why her accent, they were saying her accent's very strange?
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that, but if they said it, they said it.
When they were talking,
what do you think of her?
I thought, so I didn't realize that. Did they go into her, when I looked her up, her family has been in the jewelry business for a while.
Yeah, I mean, and that would make sense for why she's continuing it. I like her and
she seems like she doesn't want to act. I don't know why people are pushing her to get back into acting. Talk about someone who doesn't want to do what everyone else is telling her that she's good at and what she should do.
No,
do you agree?
That was so funny. Okay, that scene with her and her husband going over the lines, like, I'm sorry, but she's a terrible actress.
Is she? But it said like she had this guy that she was doing all these films with when she was a teen, right? And in her 20s. Is that what happens in Bollywood?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the Bollywood acting style, like, yeah, there are these big famous people in Bollywood.
And they just pair up and they do like a bunch of...
I don't know about that.
Movies together?
It's possible. I think probably now there's more of a breadth, but just like in American cinema, I think, like 30, 40 years ago, there were like a few it people that you saw in a lot of things. And I think that's expanded now. And that's probably the case in India as well. I thought her husband, I really liked her husband. I feel like their conversation about like, she's very, again, this is where the gender politics come up, where she's like, I'm a proper woman. I don't swear on screen. I don't show anything. I don't kiss on screen. And her husband's like, well, I've done stuff. Like, what is that? How does that make you feel? And she's like, well, I don't watch it. But like, and then she was like, would you trust me? And he's like, yeah, I would trust you in a room with 100 men. I would trust you. And she was like
taken back.
And she was like, why would you ever even say something like that? And my read on her, so here's the deal. Seema hates Neelam. It's clear that Seema hates her. Like, did you pick up on that on episode 2?
No, not at all.
Seema was like, just every chance she could, she was like, Neelam doing this, Neelam doing that. And like for instance, the part where Neelam is meeting with that guy to buy some jewels and Seema's like, Neelam doesn't know how to bargain.
That was wild.
Like that is a real dig in Indian culture.
Seema wasn't really painted in like a light manner.
No, she definitely
seems very stressed out. And I'm talking about someone we talked before this, how much you and I are stressed out.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so I'm not saying I'm not stressed and she's stressed.
Totally.
Stress recognizes stress.
Stress recognizes stress. Okay, what? So Seema, I have some questions about. She's married.
Maybe I can answer.
She's married to Somail, and didn't he look like Liev Schreiber? Or Liev Schreiber if he was on steroids?
Okay. They were sitting in the kitchen, right? He kind of walks in.
Yeah, like they were FaceTiming with her oldest son, Nirvan.
Right.
And
who just looked like, I don't even want to be on camera right now.
But, okay, my question is, she said there was a whole
They're not
thing.
together, right?
She was like, we have an unconventional marriage.
Right. So they don't live together.
Is that the deal?
I guess.
How did they say that?
He looked like looked like he was driven there like 2 minutes before, mic'd up and walking into that room. Let's just say that.
Okay, so that's interesting. I was like, oh, they all live here.
Unclear though. I haven't, like, they said, listen, but for the record, if I had enough money and my partner and I and the kids were older could have their own house or like apartments down the road, like Leah and her husband on New York.
Yes.
No, they're not together. Sorry. But you know what I mean? It's like down the road from each other and we could have our own apartments and stuff. I think I might jump on that. Would you? Patrick? Would Patrick want that? And would you be offended?
I don't know.
If you had Boko bucks.
I think I might be a little offended.
Okay.
I'd be like, why can't we just get a really big house where like you have one
like
wing
Kim and Kanye,
and I
like
have
Kim's
the other.
over here and Kanye's over here.
I mean, I absolutely want a house where I can have a whole set of rooms that are just mine, like 100%. But okay, so you picked up on that. I didn't really see that, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like maybe they're separated or maybe they're still together, but they're not living together.
Right.
Maybe they have an open marriage, which would be super controversial.
I mean, yeah.
I think they're going to get into it more.
Okay.
But, so Seema hates Neelam.
Wow, it's huge.
It's so clear to me. And then what did you think when Neelam was on the phone talking about her acting career, like looking at the jewels, like as she's on the phone? I was like, that's some fake shit.
Okay, so here's the deal. So jewelry, I'm not a jewelry person. I just want to make that clear. So, you know, when it's like gets to the point where everyone's like, oh my God, my like engagement ring or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, an iceberg, or like making those comments like diamonds and stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't like
register.
Jewels just, it doesn't pull me in.
Yeah.
The only time I've kind of been wowed by jewels was when I was reading in Vogue that J-Lo has a collection of canary diamonds. And like, that's when I was like, that's huge. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see those. But like, so when she's sitting like with tweezers picking up these little sparkly things, it was just like she might as well been picking up Dippin' Dots, you know?
I mean,
does that kind of like answer?
Like looking at them through a microscope, like what are you inspecting them? Are you actually putting them and organizing them?
It's just like, and I'll refer back to Indian matchmaking. Like I was more in tune and more curious about when that one guy had all the little dresses for his statue. Like that to me is like I am like I could do a whole episode of just like
what's going on,
them dressing the little like gods and goddesses, like so it just kind of went over my head.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean totally.
What did you think?
I just felt like it was a little for show. Like,
and that's what these reviews are talking about. It's just all set up and all like, but I would enjoy like little dresses more so than. And when he pulled out that thing for $100,000.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so here's my thing is like, sure, some of it's for show. I think we get that across all the Housewives shows. Like you and I
Brandy and Kim showing up.
It's all like planned or whatever. But the people that I think I always like the most are those who they can't help but show their authentic selves. And I feel like
like Seema yelling at so in episode 2 when it's supposed to be nice and cool and it's like is it a clothing brand?
Oh yeah, or
just stores.
Yeah, so that's what she does. She has a clothing store. She has a brand of like she has a line, I think.
And unclear what the clothes look like. But we did go into, and when she gets that phone call and it's just going again, I see myself.
Oh wait, no. That wasn't Seema. That was That was Bhavana, wasn't it?
Okay, yes. And so I see that is authentic to me.
Yeah. So
and I said that I see myself a lot in Maheep.
Yeah.
Her cursing, I texted you when they were eating
the
snails and just ripping out the F word.
Fuck.
And like she is just like, fuck this. And I feel like that gives me permission as a mom to let the F word out and not feel ashamed.
Totally. And I was shocked. Like I was expecting to hear no cursing, none of that. Me too. Because in India,
and just from what you told me, when she started ripping out the F word so much.
I mean, we were wondering, we're not sure that people in India can even listen to this podcast.
Right.
We swear
so tell a friend in India. But they're up on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I'm slowly putting them up on YouTube. I'll put this one up on YouTube ASAP. But I think that okay, so Bhavana, I think, is my favorite, actually.
Why?
The Love Gen woman. Okay, we have to talk about the husbands too. Can we talk about
she was
Chunky?
A flight attendant. I'm like, okay, was she a flight attendant?
Is that what they said?
She was a flight attendant, right? And then it's like,
so
okay, why is his name Chunky?
So remember I was telling you that
right, Dimple.
Yeah, Dimple and Simple and Chunky and Punky and Pinky.
Do they know Chunky means
fat?
Chunky?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
So was he chunky growing up?
Maybe. He was a chunky baby. Sometimes it comes from baby.
I love a baby with rolls.
Oh my God, he was the most did you notice? So this is such a Bollywood guy thing, is wearing sunglasses indoors.
Why was he wearing that tie-dye shirt? That was a choice.
This whole situation was like chunky.
He looked
chunky, man. You gotta work that.
Do you think he's a stoner?
No,
it's just like, is that a fat? It's probably like Comme des Garçons, some designer that we can't afford that shirt.
Probably, but it's not working for him. I have to say.
I was like,
we have to note that Chunky and Bhavana's daughter Ananya, who went to the ball a few years ago, she is an up-and-coming Bollywood star.
I looked her up. Yeah. She's been in a couple stuff.
Yeah, she's already going in the industry. Shanaya wants to get there, and Ananya's a few steps ahead of her. She must be a little bit older than her.
I thought Shanaya was 15, but I think she's 17, right?
Yeah, I think so. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I just feel like Bhavana is the most down to earth of all the women. She seems kind of the most normal person.
Right. I think that the cursing really humanizes her.
No, that's Maheep.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But I also agree. Maheep.
You think Bhavana is more down to earth than everyone?
No, I just think she's the most chill. She's not prone to drama. Do you know what I mean?
She was the one screaming into her phone.
Well,
telling her
so
that it wasn't an emergency.
This is a cultural difference, I think, because that to me is just everyday. That's everyday life. That's how my mom talks to everyone.
Okay.
I don't feel that wasn't stress producing for me at all.
The thing is I feel like Italians do that too, Italian Americans.
Yeah.
And I do that, but I feel because I always talk about I scream at my kids or whatever. Don't call, I do.
Yeah.
And I feel in Boulder, no one does that. So I feel I am
No.
the person.
You need to become more Indian, clearly, because you need to come into the Indian fold because
I would be normal.
It's always just yelling at your kids.
Well, and I feel I'm not even yelling because I can't hear myself. My yelling is talking, you know what I mean? And I'm very direct.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, totally. So that didn't seem intense to me.
Does your mom say the F word?
She does now. She says I taught it to her, which is maybe fair. But anyway, I am interested to see more of Bhavana. I really like Maheep. I think that she's also
I want Bhavana doing full on stage mom stuff. I want to see her on set.
Yes. And so we get to see her meet with Arjun, who is one of her nephews.
Right. And is Arjun really famous?
clear.
Okay.
All of these people are famous. Like,
right.
They are connected to very famous people. I see in the credits that Shah Rukh Khan, who's huge, like for me, he's like, he was huge in the 90s, which was kind of when I was.
Was he hot?
A lot of people think so.
Right.
I've never thought he's like the hottest, but I do recognize that he's hot. He's like related to Seema. Like Seema, not related by blood, but I think they're like sister-in-law, brother-in-law, or something like that. So he's going to be in an episode, and all of them are like, I don't watch a ton of Bollywood myself, so I just don't know, but all of these people are famous. Like they're in films. They're like
Brad Pitt?
Kind of, yeah. Like a household name. Like everyone would know who they are.
It's so funny because in America, and it's changing, but usually back in the day, you get the reality. It's always like delisted.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all the delisted people like go on
reality
shows.
Yeah.
But here it's like, it sounds like it's A-listers.
Well, it's a different format, right? Like, and again, this is where the white center thing comes in. I think in India, a lot of Indians, I've noticed this my whole life, they strive to be American or westernized. So they see the Housewives, they see Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
That was the reference.
And they're like, we want to be like that. That's like a goal for us, is to be like that. So when they get asked to be on this show, they're like, this is a career move. This is a good thing.
But then it's so weird because we, like, again, like in my world, like the Housewives are A-listers.
Yeah.
But in normal, like, celebrity,
no, they're definitely
whatever,
C, D.
They're not. They're just D, and you know.
No, and these people are like, they are A-listers who are signing up to do the show. So that's kind of where we're at, which is interesting in terms of like what is considered good in both arenas. And
I'd love to see how much these people got paid, because it could either be a ton or nothing.
It could be nothing. It could very well be nothing. So, okay, so let's talk about Seema and Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay, so I appreciate that she DMs Kim, but unclear whether Kim DMs her back.
I'm going to say
no.
Because she would have said if Kim replied. But yes, she sends her pictures and says happy birthday. That's so nice. It's so
when
sweet.
She was like I just said, and the daughter or the son is just like so embarrassed.
The one.
I wanted to see more clothes in her store.
Yeah, so I think we probably will. We saw a few of the fashions on that girl who went in.
That girl, when she was talking about how fat she was, I was like, oh my God.
I know. It was a little bit upsetting. So, okay. Have we talked about all the women? Like who? Neelam, Maheep, Seema, and Bhavana. Is there anything else to say about these first two episodes? I think it's kind of like the beginning.
It's the beginning. We haven't seen like Maheep. We've seen in her house. I would love to see like more of her closets. Again, I'm a closet person. And Neelam, I would be interested to watch one of her old movies. Yeah. Because
I think she's a controversial character. And I think the dynamic between her and Seema is going to be a central point of drama in the season. Like, Neelam is one of those women that you can tell tries really hard to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for women, like, I'll just speak for myself, who I know that I'm not perfect, and I embrace the imperfect parts of myself as much as I can. And it really frustrates me seeing women try to, like, meet this ideal of what they think other people want them to be. And
I think it's just so
fake.
hard.
It's
because
fake.
It's like she is just been brought up in the Bollywood system, and she was just, I could imagine, so
image conscious.
Formed as a young woman. She was so malleable, and Bollywood probably just tried to harden who she was and the expectations. And I'm not saying, so I watched the Judy movie.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's, and you have these, she's a prime example of they set the bar so high and asked her to constantly jump over it. And in the end, I mean, she died so young. This is so dark. I'm not saying Neelam's like Judy Garland, but you know what I mean? Or like Britney Spears, like we were talking about.
And I think that actually the show is confronting that reality. Like when Sanjay is talking about how, like, Shanaya wants to get into Bollywood, but she needs to know that it's not all fun and games, that it's really hard work and that there's a darkness to it.
Right.
And I thought it was really cool how they showed how, like, his very frank words about
his demeanor changed too when he was talking about how it just eats you up and spits you out.
And I think as a father, seeing his daughter entering the industry as a woman and how she's potentially going to be objectified and treated in that space, you could tell he had like real
100%.
Okay, we have to talk about Max.
Which one's Max?
Max was Shania's date at
I thought okay. Not a lot going on between the ears.
His hair. What was going on with his hair?
I was so surprised they let him out.
I was like he looks
someone
like
styled it.
He looks like
that way.
He looked like the Joker.
Because of his big lips.
No, his hair was all like frizzy and like
I know, that's
uneven.
Who let this man out?
And they kept talking about how cute he was, and I was like, girl, you can do.
Do you think he's French? I was like, this kid is very French, male model, like
yes.
Probably goes to some prep school in Switzerland.
No, like again, like no. Shanaya can do so much better than that guy.
Right.
I
thought Shanaya was gorgeous.
She's beautiful. And
I like seeing the women eat. Like when they went out and they ate.
Indians eat a lot. And that is one thing about Indian culture that is across the board. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the Bollywood wives sphere, though.
Right,
know?
And it's such a difference because you go like a Rina going out to eat.
No, like literally, I've never seen her eat anything.
Right,
never.
She doesn't eat.
So none of them do. And that's another thing about we've already talked about how in Potomac,
it's
the
like
women actually eat their food.
Oh my god! Especially when they were like traveling to watch them order.
I know.
And and especially when I said this before, but like on the Beverly Hills when they went to Italy and the bread
was just sitting there.
And we were just like, what? And then Teddy, who's pregnant, being like, I'm still full from lunch.
Yeah, it's
I think she ordered a light dinner in Italy.
I know. It's just
it's upsetting.
And these
and it
women
makes me angry.
There was a little bit of food shaming on this episode around Neelam not eating seafood.
Right.
Which was that was Seema again hating on Neelam. I'm telling you, she hates her.
That's interesting.
It's a whole thing. So
now I'm gonna watch out for it. So then that's it.
So that's episodes 1 and 2. We're going to do 3 and 4 next. We're going to just release them as we have time to do them. So,
because we're busy women.
We are busy.
And tell your friends to listen to our podcast, Family Karma Cast with a K. We would love more reviews because I always say if you've gotten this far, you like us. You enjoyed, I'm guessing. And so I'm still seeing us at 47.
No. We're up to 49 now.
Oh, wait. Okay. So we got 2 reviews in the last week, but we want more. Write something.
And also because I am really, truly not sure if our podcast can be listened to in India. I am going to put this episode up on YouTube. So if you are Indian and you want to share some recap, we know everyone wants to talk about the show. Talk about it with us. We love chatting about these things. DM us with questions or topics you think we should be addressing about.
Because someone brought this to us, a listener.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing it.
Yeah, and it's so perfect and we're so excited about it. So stay tuned. We have so many other great episodes that we're releasing this month. So make sure you're subscribed. And I think that's it.
We love you.
We love you. And,
Thank you.
Namaste, bitches.
Namaste, bitches.